Picture this. One morning in Washington, D.C., Trump sits inside his glass-walled office, his face flushed, eyes burning with fury, slamming his palms on the desk, shouting, "India has returned all the weapons we gave them. How dare they insult us like this? Yes, my friends, India has spoken. We don't need your weapons. We don't need your muscle. We will live life on our own terms." That was the day America's real face became clear. First, they slapped a 50% tariff. Then they froze trade agreements. Then, from behind closed doors, came the threats. But did India bow its head? No. India announced, "We will not deal with you. We will join hands only with nations who respect us." Now, let me ask, do you think this is just about weapons? No. This is about dignity. This is about freedom. This is about a country refusing to kneel. And then look, far away in the freezing streets of Moscow, a secret meeting takes place. Putin smiles and says, "India, you are not alone. We stand with you." China, too, moves quietly in the background, making its own plays, old deals, technology exchanges, new projects, hidden from the public eye. America's sleep is disturbed. Trump wakes at 300 a.m., storms to Twitter and writes, "India will pay for this." But India only smiles and replies, "We will carve our own road." Tell me, should we go back to begging America? Should we sell our freedom, or should we stand with true allies? Russia, China, Brazil, South Africa, together starting a new chapter. This is not just politics. This is about the life of the ordinary Indian. Yes, prices might rise. Yes, some goods may become costly. But should we trade away honor for cheap things? Do we want to teach our children that money is worth more than pride? I know the days ahead won't be easy. But storms bring new dawns. A day will come when the world will say, "India made the greatest bully kneel." So I leave you with this. Will we fight? Will we stand by our land even if the whole world turns its back? If your answer is yes, then raise this voice so high that even Trump hears it. India is not for sale. India does not bend. India only wins. But my friends, this story is not only about India and America. This is about a pattern, a shadow stretching over the world for decades. America shakes your hand when it needs you and stabs you the moment you stand tall. Ask Iraq, they were promised peace. What did they get? Destruction. Ask Libya. Promised democracy. What did they get? Fire and rubble. Ask Afghanistan. 20 years of promises, billions spent, and when America left, they left only chaos. Now they think they can do the same to India. But they forgot this is not the India of yesterday. This is 1.4 billion hearts beating together. In Delhi's lanes, in Punjab's fields, in Bangalore's tech towers, the same message spreads: we will not be bullied. Mothers tell their children, one day, you'll see a stronger India. Fathers say, we will eat less if we must, but we will never lower our heads. While America sends its submarines toward Russian waters, the world watches. Is America ready to fight both Russia and India at once? Ready to lose two massive markets, two great Eastern powers? In Beijing, meetings happen. Chinese officials examine maps, trade routes, oil pipelines. They ask if India is ready. Are we? In Moscow, the answer is already yes. Friends, this is more than tariffs and weapons. This is a shift in the world's balance. For decades, one lead actor ruled the stage, the United States. But now, new actors step forward and the old one trembles. So I ask again, will you stand with India when prices climb? Will you stand when foreign media spreads lies? Will you stand when pressure comes from every direction? Because if we are united, no tariff, no threat, no fleet can shake us. But if we divide, then we have already lost. Let's tell them, from Delhi to Mumbai, Chennai to Kolkata, Kashmir to Kanyakumari, take back your weapons, take back your deals, take back your threats, but you will never take our pride. Close your eyes and picture this. A small farmer in a quiet village, his hands cracked from years of labor. News reaches him. America has doubled tariffs, prices will rise, exports will fall. He smiles, wipes the sweat from his brow, and says, let them. My land feeds me, my pride feeds my soul. In a packed Mumbai train, a young woman holds her laptop bag. She works in IT, her clients mostly abroad. She knows contracts may be cut, but she whispers, no amount of money is worth bowing to someone who disrespects my country. This is the India they do not understand. They think India can be bought. They think India can be scared. But India is not just a piece of land. It is 5,000 years of unbroken will. It is the voice of ancestors who crossed oceans, climbed mountains, and never let their flag fall. While Trump sits in his golden tower, firing threats on social media, He cannot hear the heartbeat of a billion people. A heartbeat saying, do your worst. We will still rise. Tell me, what is the price of dignity? What is the worth of freedom? If it costs comfort, if it costs convenience, is that too high to stand tall? One day, not today, maybe not tomorrow, but one day the same America that turned away will come asking for friendship. And on that day, we will decide if they deserve it. Until then, we look east to Russia saying, we will walk with you. To China saying, we will build the road ahead. To African and South American nations whispering, would two have been under the same hand? Let's unite. History remembers those who stood, not those who bowed. It remembers those who said no when others stayed silent. It remembers nations that chose honor over gold. So if the path ahead is tough, let it be tough. If the nights are long, let them be long. Every step we take in pride is one our children will never take in shame. And when the day comes, when the sun rises over a stronger, freer India, we will remember these days, not as a time of pain, but as the moment the world realized India cannot be broken. India cannot be bought. India only wins. When they try to break us, when they try to make us beg, they will find something unexpected, not fear, not weakness, but a billion unshaken hearts beating together. They will see the farmer planting his field, knowing his crops may not sell, but planting anyway because it is his land. They will see the student who loses a scholarship, but still raises the tricolor in the campus square. They will see the soldier on a frozen border, miles from home, whispering into the wind, I am here for my people. In that moment, they will know India is not made of steel or stone. India is made of spirit. Spirit cannot be taxed. Spirit cannot be sanctioned. Spirit cannot be silenced. Trump may hide behind golden walls, armies, and tariffs, but no wall is tall enough to block the rise of a people who refuse to kneel. So let them send threats. Let them hike prices. Let them turn away. We have something stronger. We have each other. We have unity. We know our fight today will shape a stronger tomorrow. When history writes this chapter, it will not say India suffered. It will say India endured. It will say India stood. It will say India won. So I ask, will you stand with me? Will you stand with your brothers and sisters? Will you stand with every heart beating for this land? If yes, then raise your voice so high it crosses oceans. Raise your voice so loud that even the White House will hear. Friends, the world believes the fight between India and America is only about weapons and tariffs. But behind closed doors, something far bigger is taking place. In Washington, secret war rooms glow under the light of massive screens. Maps of trade routes, oil pipelines, satellite shots of Indian ports fill the walls. Advisors lean toward Trump and whisper, cut them off from our market, make them desperate. They believe India will eventually crawl back. They think they can choke us without firing a single bullet. But here's what they don't understand. India is already building new bridges, not the kind made from steel, but bridges made of trust. Trade deals with Southeast Asia, fresh corridors with Africa, lightning fast agreements with Middle Eastern allies. America thinks it is shutting us out. But in truth, it is closing itself in. Yet the storm is very real. Inside Indian boardrooms, CEOs sit with calculators and maps, figuring out how to reroute exports. In government halls, ministers speak in low but firm voices. We will endure this, but we will not bend. Meanwhile, across the Pacific, Trump's frustration is boiling. Every day brings a new sanction. Every week, a fresh insult. He stands before cameras, pointing fingers, calling India ungrateful. But behind the cameras, his advisors grow uneasy. They know India is too large to crush, too vital to ignore. So the game turns darker. Cyber attacks on Indian systems, pressure on our friends to distance themselves from us, media campaigns painting us as the villains. This is no longer just an economic fight. It is a battle for the world's perception. And this, my friends, is where we must fight harder than ever. Not only with armies, not only with trade, but with the truth. Because America's strongest weapon is not its military, it's the story it tells the world. And for the first time, India is writing its own story. So let them watch, let them doubt, because when this chapter closes, they will see that India did not merely survive America's pressure. India rose above it. And the day will come when America will have no choice but to knock on our door again. Not as a master, not as a bully, but as an equal. The months pass, but the tension between India and America doesn't fade. In fact, it grows hotter with every sunrise. New Delhi is buzzing with intelligence reports, strange movements in the Indian Ocean, increased satellite activity over our borders, sudden withdrawals of American firms from joint projects. In quiet corners, Indian analysts whisper they're preparing for something much bigger. In Washington, the atmosphere is just as tense. Trump holds a late-night meeting in the Situation Room. A giant map of the Indo-Pacific glows on the wall. Arrows mark Indian ports, choke points, and strategic bases. One advisor leans forward and says, if we cut their supply lines here and here, they'll be forced to come to us. Trump nods, but his eyes are cold. And while these plans are being drawn in secrecy, India starts moving its own pieces. Naval drills with Japan, joint cyber defense training with Russia, technology exchange programs with Israel. The world might think India is just defending itself, but those paying close attention know we are quietly building an unbreakable shield. Then comes the first major flashpoint. An Indian cargo ship carrying vital energy supplies is stopped in international waters by a U.S. warship. The message is clear. It can reach you anywhere. The Indian Prime Minister calls an emergency meeting. The room is silent until one voice says, if they can touch our ships, we can touch their markets. That night, a chain reaction begins. American tech giants wake up to new regulations in India, billions of dollars suddenly at risk. U.S. imports are held up at ports for extended inspections. Overnight, India signs new trade agreements with nations Washington believed it controlled. The White House is caught off guard. This is not the India they expected. This is not the India that waits for permission. Meanwhile, the world is watching closely. Smaller nations begin to whisper, if India can push back, maybe we can too. America's grip is slipping, not because of warships or missiles, but because the idea of resistance is spreading. And deep down, both sides know one wrong step now, and the fight will leave boardrooms and oceans and enter history as the moment when the balance of power shifted forever. But now this standoff is more than just an India-America dispute. It's a fault line running through the heart of the global economy. In Brussels, European leaders gather for an emergency summit. On their screens, plunging trade indexes, blocked shipping lanes, surging oil prices. One minister mutters under his breath, if this continues, half our economies will collapse. In the Middle East, oil-rich kingdoms sense an opportunity. They know U.S. sanctions are pushing India to buy more energy from them. But they also know Washington's patience is wearing thin. Behind palace doors, a choice is being weighed: stand with the old superpower or bet on the rising one. In Beijing, strategy rooms are buzzing. Chinese officials see the perfect storm, a distracted America, a bold India, and a changing global order. They quietly speed up joint infrastructure projects with India, sending goods through hidden trade routes that avoid U.S. tracking. Then the spark. A sudden cyber attack cripples an American banking network. Screens go dark across New York. The U.S. media shouts, foreign interference, fingers point toward Asia. There's no proof, only suspicion. Within hours, Washington announces fresh restrictions on Indian goods, citing security concerns. India answers not with speeches, but with action. In Moscow, a groundbreaking trade deal is signed. Billions in oil, defense technology, and rare earth minerals exchange hands. The event is broadcast across the world. The message could not be clearer. We have other doors to knock on. The tension now is electric. Markets are in free fall. Shipping companies refuse to sail through certain waters without military escort. The United Nations calls for an urgent session, but both sides arrive with cold, practiced smiles and zero intention of backing down. Somewhere deep inside, the world realizes this is not about tariffs or weapons anymore. This is about the death of one era and the birth of another. An era where nations no longer tremble under America's shadow. An era where alliances are built not on old history, but on mutual respect. The only question that remains is this: who will rise with India and who will fall with America?